We're rolling.
Yay.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Carrie Banks, we're ready for you to start. We are now recording.
Okay, Chris, do you want to start with our housekeeping thing?
Yeah, all right. Good morning, everyone. Just to remind everyone, and any other meetings, we do need to make sure that we don't interrupt even our speakers or anyone. We remind everyone, if you have a question, there are two ways of doing it. If you want to raise your hand, it's in your bottom bar, which you'll see the number 10. You could click on that, which is to be on the bottom or the top, wherever it is, on your screen or everywhere. These are for the computer and tablet people. There is a raise your hand device there. You can raise your hand. I will know that it's on. Please make sure that you please use that. If you want to type in your questions, you can use the chat that is available on. Just please make sure you're typing it in to everyone. So therefore, the question can be cleared so we can make sure the question goes in. Also remind everyone, and I'm going down to the phone people, that hand will sometimes spin to remind you to please, if you have a question, please raise your hand. We don't want to have interruption because someone else might be ahead of you. We have to make sure to keep the meeting in order and time. Remind everyone on the phone who are on the phones, like Carrie, and we also have someone from the Brooklyn DDRO with us today, the new school, forgive me, it's hard to say his name, but he's here as well. *6 is to mute, *9 to raise your hand. Please make sure that we all do that. It's *6 to unmute or mute, *9 to raise your hand. These are for the phone people only. So please make sure that hand will be shown and I will hear a ding, means your hand is up. Does anyone have any questions about the housekeeping rules? One reminder.
This is Carrie.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
This is Carrie, Chris. I have another comment. When you speak, please say your name as you speak because we can't see, those of us on the phone can't see you and people with visual impairments also can't see you.
I agree. Please identify yourself as well, as I agree with Carrie. Please use your name, like saying that, or if I see your hand is up, I will say your name as well. But if you're on the phone, please say your name. Like Carrie, you didn't say your name.
I did. I said, this is Carrie.
I'm just joking, Carrie. It's just a test.
All right.
You got to have a good sense of humor today. See, everyone else agrees with me.
I left my humor in the car with my coffee. Sorry.
Oh, I plead the fifth on that one. So, Carrie, let's rock and roll.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Carrie again. So before we start, our agenda is slightly different than what you see on the screen. And I want to apologize. Teresa Del Fiore wanted me to apologize for her. She's had something come up at her school that she has to deal with immediately. That's part of the job when you're a principal, is dealing with the things that come up. So she won't be able to join us today. She is the chair of the meeting. So today's agenda, I'm filling in for her. She owes me big time.
Yes, she does. I second that emotion.
Today's agenda is, we're going to start with welcomes and introductions, then we're going to have a presentation by Ruth Beroma from Include NYC, and then questions after that. Then we've got some old business to discuss. Our second workshop is that, and open it up to any new business things people want to bring up, and then finally we'll have our announcement. Chris, since I don't have access to the chat, can you just read anything out that you think I need to know that comes through on the chat?
That's duty noted, no problem.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, so we'll start with introductions. I'll go first. Chair's privilege. I am Carrie Banks. I run Inclusive Services at the Brooklyn Public Library, and those are our services for children and teens with disabilities. Normally, I'd be putting a lot of events in the chat, but I'll just mention a few later on in the announcement. So for the introductions, please just give your name and your organization. There will be plenty of time at the end for announcements. Okay, who wants to go next? Ruth?
Good morning. My name is Ruth Beroma. I'm one of the senior family educators at Include NYC, which I'll be talking about in a few minutes. And I will pass it back along to Ursula.
Okay, hello.
Hello, Ursula, we can hear you.
Oh, hi, good morning. It's Ursula Kowalczyk from Family Connect, the Adapt Community Network. I'm a family resources specialist, and I put the information in the chat regarding our webinar. Thank you. Oh, I should say who will be the next?
No.
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
How are we doing this?
yeah, you should say who's next,
Yeah.
because I can't see the screen.
Okay, Anne Manino, if I pronounce well.
Amanino, unmute yourself. And I think she froze. Let's try Loris. Hello, guys. Oh, there she goes.
I'm on mute. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I am the executive assistant for the Brooklyn Advisory Council. That's it. Okay, Chris.
Thank you.
Oh,
You're welcome.
and I'm Christopher D. Grife, Vice Chair of the Brooklyn DD Council, as well as the Correspondent Secretary of the Brooklyn Advisory Council, as well as New York City Transit Riders Council and ACTA. Dolores Kahn. She doesn't have to raise her hand.
Okay, good morning. My name is Doris Kahn. I'm the outreach coordinator for New York State Institute on Disability. We are a family reimbursement agency. We provide evaluations, reimbursement, transportation services, and also recreation activities.
Great. Thank you. Can you say the next person?
Crisis management.
Chris, why don't you just go ahead and go through the list? So
I was just going to say Nick.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Nick LaBruna. I'm from Partners Health Plan. I'm an outreach associate with them. And I believe this is my first time at this children's committee. So hello.
Hi, Nick.
Hi, Nick. Welcome.
Carrie, we also want to welcome someone new, so you got a chance before Merry Christmas again, from the Brooklyn DDRO.
Well, let's just keep going. Yeah, let's just keep going, Kristen. When they introduce themselves.
I know, but this person's on the phone. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, great. So do they want to go next?
That's why I'm just getting him right now.
All right.
Hi. Good morning. My name is Sam Young. I'm at the OPWDD office, the Brooklyn DDRO. I just started about a month ago, and I'm just glad to be here and hear what we're going to be discussing today and learning today.
Great. Sam, congratulations. This is Carrie. Congratulations
Thank you.
on joining us at the Brooklyn DDRO, and thank you so much for coming to today's meeting.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah. Chris, maybe you could put my contact information in the chat.
No problem.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Okay, who's next?
I'm trying to find. Who is Izabela? Can you please unmute yourself?
Yes, hi, my name is Isabella. I'm here as a representative for a parent. I'm just going to take notes and listen to what everyone has to say.
Isabella, this is Carrie. Please feel free to ask questions too, okay?
Okay, thank you.
And thanks so much for coming.
That's so far. I'm looking right now. We have 10 people. Got Carrie.
Yeah, it got me.
We got everyone.
Okay, great. So I guess it's back to me. This is Carrie again. It is my great pleasure, as always, to introduce Ruth Beroma. As you know, she's a family educator with Include NYC. Include NYC is, well, she'll tell you more about that, and I don't want to steal her thunder, but I want to say that Ruth and I have been working together for many years. Ruth has been a real asset to the disability community for about as long as I've been at the library, which is a really long time at this point. So thank you, Ruth, and the floor is all yours.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Chris. I'm really pleased to be with you today. Just to kind of give you a brief overview of Include. Include is a nonprofit agency which is about close to 40 years old now. It was founded by 3 moms, originally called Resources for Children with Special Needs. And I guess about 6 or 7 years ago, we changed our name to Include NYC because we asked ourselves what we wanted for our children. And what we wanted very clearly was them to be included in everything, in every aspect of life. The organization's primary purpose is to help parents navigate the special education system. And we do that in several ways. We present workshops, we present trainings, we are both the early childhood and school age, like part of the New York State Education Department's Technical Assistance Center, and part of the New York State Education Department partnership, which helps parents in every borough. So we are literally what used to be the early childhood centers. We are now the early childhood centers, and we are also the school age parent centers for New York City, for the 5 boroughs. We help again with the navigation of the special education system, but a lot more than that. We also can help with information about benefits. We steer many people to OPWDD who may have heard about you, but don't know exactly how to start. So we're constantly looking out to get them to front door sessions so they can begin the process. We have conferences. We have a young people's program for students that want to go to college and they have disabilities, but we call it College is Possible, and that's been done every year with great success, getting students with disabilities to move forward with their education or training. One of the most, visible things that we have is a helpline, and I put the numbers in the chat. There are basically two helplines. There's an English one and a Spanish one. And if a parent has a very specific question about their child's needs, you can call the helpline or suggest that they call the helpline, and an appointment will be made with a family educator like myself, and we can kind of walk you through the process and help you with the options that you have. Somebody's moving around a lot that isn't on mute. I just hear a lot of background noise. Again, if you have specific questions about any aspect of the special education process or obtaining benefits or anything of that nature, you can give us a call. Again, there are 2 helplines. There's an English helpline and a Spanish helpline. Additionally, we have 2 websites. We have an English website, which is includenyc.org, or a Spanish website, which is incluyenyc.org. And both are specifically tailored and can be translated back and forth into whatever languages that your family may need. So what we're going to talk about a little, and I have had an ongoing, as Carrie said, relationship with the Brooklyn Public Library. I started out back when at the Brooklyn Parent Center, so Brooklyn is very dear to my heart, and have had a relationship with the Brooklyn Public Library and Inclusive Services for many years. Once a month, we hold when we were in person, I would come to the library and kind of hold an open door session, and parents would come and we discuss in person some of their questions, some of their needs. Now we're doing it virtually. So if any of your parents would like to come through that procedure, you would contact Carrie at the Brooklyn Public Library's Inclusive Services, or you can call Include directly yourself. So this year has been extraordinary in so many, many ways, with the people who've been ill, and especially the people we've lost. We know that this is a year unlike any other, and it's weighed heavily on families, especially in New York City and especially in communities of color. And we know that it's not going to be easy getting back to school. And we have been working alongside the Department of Ed to make sure that our children with disabilities are understood and hopefully cared for, especially when they go back to school. Part of what Include does also is help make parents' voices heard in policy. We give testimony, we have position papers, and we join in with groups to make sure that policy is understood and representation is had for students with disabilities. So one of the things, we're not quite ready that we will be going back to school full time yet, because parents made a choice months ago about how many students will be doing fully remote schooling and blended learning. That means some in person, some remotely. When the news came across that high schools are opening, basically what that meant is that only 20% of high school students are eligible to return. That 20% is 55,000 high school students, which is far from the number of all high school students going back to school. So remember, only 20% of high school students will actually be going back on March 22nd. Given that concept, what I was asked to talk about today is remote learning, because for many of us, that has been a real concern and real problem in many instances. Our kids need kind of the love and respect that only kind of a in-classroom teacher can give to them. And for those not in a District 75 program, or possibly those who chose fully remote, they're not getting that. So I'd like just to kind of briefly go over some ideas to possibly make these next, what probably will be very long few months, a little easier, that how to work with your child in helping them get through remote learning. And we have to understand that overall, we're doing the best we can. And I want you as parents of children with disabilities to know that this was never, supposed to be the plan. Our kids were supposed to be in person, and they were supposed to be getting that hands-on feeling from instruction. This virtual learning is taking us to a new place. And for many of our kids, they don't even understand what's going on. And they will have missed an entire year of being face to face with their teachers. So please, let's think about what we could do and how we can make their, their school days, at least for the next few months, a little better. So I'm going to go over some tips, and certainly write them down if you want further information. Take a look at the Include NYC website. We have tip sheets there that literally can be printed out, and we can certainly talk, if you have specific questions about your child, your family, give us a call. So the first thing is to structure the day. I know even working from home past year, it's been, well, next week will be a full year, things are different. And at first it was like, oh, well, what do I do next? What do I do next? But having structure, having a calendar, having a list of things, and especially having a schedule is really important. And that schedule should be next to the child on their workspace, be it a desk, a table, wherever your child is working. That schedule should be visible to them. I know parents that have made huge charts with pockets and things so they can move things around, but having structure, having a visible schedule is really, truly important for our kids to help them structure their day. Make sure they have a clear workspace. There's nothing more confusing than confusion. If they're working in an area that's really messy, or they're in the midst of their toys, or they're in the midst of something else, that just gives them a kind of an excuse not to focus. It's easy to pick up something. I'm not saying they shouldn't have some of their favorite things around, but clear the workspace. Just as we've set up shop in our homes, and every night I work off of the dining room table, and every night I clear the space around my little work spot to make sure that when I come back to work in the morning, it looks like my desk at work. So my desk at work, frankly, was a little messier than my dining room table is. So definitely make sure that the workspace is someplace that's inviting, someplace comfortable. And also remember, they don't have to work from the same exact spot all day long. For some of our kids that really need to move around, if possible, have more than one workspace so that they can move. They may be able to do the morning in one spot, the afternoon in another, just to give them a sense of time, just to give them a sense of place. So you can create more than one workspace, especially if they're doing this remotely, virtually on computer, and have them move from one to another. It's almost like changing classes. So it may make them feel a little more at ease and give them structure. Turn off all the pop-ups and notifications on their computers. It's really easy to get distracted. I know I get news flashes all day long from different news sources. So luckily I find out things as they're happening, but by the same token, I turn most of them off because they're distracting. So make sure that we do the same thing for our kids. So make sure that things aren't popping up, that, friends are chatting them, offline, out of school, those kinds of things. Again, when they're working, and they can use helicopter is right outside my window. Okay, I'm going overhead. I'm sorry. When make sure that they have a sense of time and place and when they can do things and when they can't do things. It's really, truly helpful to be able to present work to them under those circumstances. No fooling around. We can't really talk to friends right now. make sure and help your child have individual contact with their teacher. It's really important that both the teacher and your student are aware of one another. In this virtual remote world, it's very difficult to make sure that our kids feel heard. So you as the parent can try and reach out to your child's teacher to make sure that they communicate, even for a few minutes, a couple of times a week. It's really helpful that your child knows that the person on the other side of that screen cares about them. So it's a really good thing to promote. Again, if there's more than one teacher or a special favorite teacher, try and reach out to that person. If you understand, and what I've been telling parents now for a year is this, as difficult as this whole year has been, it has given parents a real opportunity to understand and see how their children learn. Many parents that I've spoken to have said, I didn't know that they were so good in math, or I didn't know that they need to really need to take more frequent breaks. If your child cannot sit still for an entire hour's class or 47-minute class or however long, talk to the teacher about possibly letting them have more frequent breaks. Also, there may be times of the day that your child is more responsive. Parents have said that early in the morning, kids wind up full of energy. Maybe we need to grab those times when they kind of come alive and are able to function at a higher level. So truly look at, and because this information that you're gathering now is really important as we go forward, and as you negotiate and talk to your students' IEP team. This is really important information that I hope you're gathering and will share what you're seeing, because these are real life observations about how your child learns. So make the learning kind of more involved and kind of more multisensory. If they're doing certain subjects, if they're talking about history, maybe have a globe or a map or something extra that they can use and look at. If they're doing mathematical, addition, subtraction, would it help if they had something tangible to use? Make learning like multisensory, because it kind of breaks this kind of just looking at a screen. Let them have something they can do and feel. It's really helpful for everyone to learn that way. I know often when I'm listening to a training or something and somebody says something, I'm able to look up more information about the word, the topic that they've mentioned. But for our kids, anything that you can give to them that's tangible, multisensory, really will help kind of monotony and just staring at the screen. Use positive words when they are paying attention. Talk to them about that. I saw you paying attention. You did a really good job. You're really able to gather the information, and mention that to them. Tell them they're doing a good job. I know parents tell me constantly that they wind up having to sit next to their child throughout the day. Maybe if we complimented them, if we gave them positive attention about what they are doing right, we wouldn't have to be sitting next to them all day. Maybe they know that when they're doing something correct, you can walk away. It's a really good skill to build in them, the self-confidence to be able to work on their own. Make sure everything is set up in advance. If you are able to, again, structure the set, get the books out that they're going to be needing, get the supplies, make sure there's, more than one pencil in case one breaks. We don't want those excuses. Make sure that they understand that there are things that we can do for them so we can kind of pull back a little bit, because come next year, hopefully, and we certainly hope and pray, everybody will be back at school, and they're going to have to relearn being a little more independent than they are now. You're not going to be able to sit with them all day, especially when they return to school. Just have a few more things to go over with you, and we will soon be done. So basically, when you are with them, when you are present, make sure that you are focusing along with them. Don't be on your cell phone when you are sitting with them, because that sends kind of a bad example. So I understand that we're working at the same time, many of us, but when you're with them and helping them pay attention alongside of them, you're modeling behavior. So again, there are a lot of things that parents can do. Most of all is to plan, praise, and to be present with your child, and certainly to make sure that they are comfortable, they get breaks, they get snacks, whatever is needed, because we want to start teaching them to be independent so that when they go back to school, they ease into the structure that they will be having. So, are there any questions or anything that we would like to talk about?
1 second, Ruth. This is Chris. Let me check.
I see a hand.
Which hand? That's just the regular hand.
Oh, that's just a regular hand. Okay.
That's the regular hand. That's just getting everyone's attention.
Okay.
Let me see.
Okay.
Let me just give a second. Oh, here we go. Carrie? I unmute. Carrie?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Ruth if she could, to thank her for doing the presentation, and then to ask her if she could repeat, she said plan, praise, and what was the other one?
Be present.
Thank you. And be comfortable. Okay, good. Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ruth.
Mm-hmm. Does anyone else have a question for the Honorable Ruth? Guys, anyone? Ursula, Nick, Isabel, Ellie?
This is Carrie again. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
What about homework weeks? I talk to parents whose kids are doing homework until 9, 10, or 11 o'clock at night, and these are elementary school age kids.
You're right. It's just too much. I think that's a conversation that has to be had with the teacher. There's many reasons for a child. They're obviously struggling with something. Certainly, I always say if a child is struggling and taking that much time with their homework, they may not be understanding something. I think we need to talk directly to the teachers about that. I can kind of relate to the fact if a child has been given 10 math problems and they're struggling through the first 5, maybe they really don't need to do the 10. This is something that you should talk to the teacher and negotiate a little more, and to find out what the problem is. There shouldn't be working that long, and there should be a cutoff. even more so now because they are stuck on a computer all day, and if they're having to do homework with that, under those circumstances. So this is a really individual, question that really should be dealt with by the teacher and or by the school. Thanks, Kathy.
Thank you, Ruth.
Ruth, this is Chris. I have a question for you. And I'm glad Carrie's bringing up about the homework issue too. There is a concern also that with special ed students, there is a little bit of, some of the students do get a little bit of having a meltdown. And lately, the only thing I'm also seeing also is with the students, when I hear, because I have neighbors where I am up here, I see the child so burned out and freaking out. They're saying this is too much, this is too heavy, and that's one place. But I'm also hearing with the special ed, they're like, some of them saying, how can I show this to the child if I'm doing a class and I'm doing homework? How can we have, the child's like saying, how can I have a little free time too? Like, do a basic stretching in your home, or go outside and put your mask on to get a little some fresh air when the weather is decent.
Okay, well, I think there's a couple of, in your question, there's a couple of different things going on there. One is if the child is having a really difficult time and is having, severe reactions, I don't want to call them necessarily meltdowns, they're communicating in a way, they're telling us something that is not right. There are several things that you could do. One thing is there is something called a behavior intervention plan. Obviously, something is triggering that behavior. It could be anything from sitting in one place too long to not understanding the work, or something else going on within the child's concern, life concerns, whatever. You can ask the school, and this would be something that you could put in writing to the school, the principal, the assistant principal, someone at the school, asking that your child, that a behavior intervention plan be created for your child. The first step to a behavior intervention plan is something called an FBA.
Say that again, can you say that again, Ruth?
Sure. An F like in functional behavior assessment, FBA. And FBA is a series of steps that observe and watches what is predecessors to a child's, or precursors, whatever you want to call it, the antecedents to a child's behavior. Is it that they don't understand the subject matter? So rather than sit there and not be able to do it, they get up from their computer, their chair, and run away. They walk away. They refuse to get on the computer when the teacher is asking them to write. We need to find out what is triggering the child. So you can ask the school to create a functional behavior assessment. The parent takes part in this. It is done by a team of teachers, psychologists, and parents that observes the child, and when the child is having a difficult time. After the observations and the data is collected through this FBA, something called a behavior intervention plan is created. That kind of outlines the steps that we will take to to prevent and to modify and substitute better behaviors. So that's one possibility. It may not even need to be that complicated, as we said, and as I was saying, by breaking things up, by putting things into smaller, teachable chunks, by cutting back on some of the homework, by making things seem less, impossible. I think for many of our kids, they see this remote learning as just frustrating and, somewhat impossible. We need to kind of scale it back. And those are just basic conversations that you should be having with the school. Be it, again, teachers may not be able to maneuver some of this, at which case go to assistant principal or go to someone that may be able to affect change. Of course, you can also ask that their IEP be updated. You don't have to wait a full year to have an IEP updated. If you feel that there is reason that the goals on the current IEP are not working, you can always write a letter to the school IEP team saying that you would like to reconvene to talk about goals and progress. So there's several different steps that you could take. Okay.
This is Carrie. Are there any other questions? Well, thanks so much, Ruth, and a round of virtual applause.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate. And again, if you need to talk to myself or anyone in Include, please, reach out to the helpline, and we're there for you. I appreciate your, and Christopher, thank you. Amongst the lovely cherry blossoms are the information that you will need. Okay, everyone, be well.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, Chris pointed out to me that we skipped the vice chair report. So that's actually, we're going to put that next on the agenda before old business. Yeah, is someone there to do the report? Chris?
I'm sorry, Carrie, my mic was off because there was an echo.
Ah, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're ready for the vice chair.
Yeah, I was going to say, can you go first because I have to put it back in order.
Okay. I can. I'm not quite ready to, but yeah. So at our last meeting, we discussed the possibility of an April workshop on parental mental health. I found a speaker for that, and that is, she is from Woodhull Hospital. She's a psychologist, and she'll be speaking. I'm sorry, I don't have her name in front of me. It's a technical glitch. But she'll be presenting. We need to look at dates and times. To be honest, I don't think I can pull anything together before the beginning of May. So I wondered if anybody had preferences for days in May or times. We've been doing this at about 5 o'clock, and we've got a couple people, but maybe there's a better time. So I'd like to open that up for discussion. Anybody have any thoughts on that, on the time and the date for our presentation, our parent workshop on parental mental health? We're not going to frame it that way. We're still, and ideas for how we can frame it. If we call it parental mental health, nobody will show. If we call it taking care of yourself, nobody will show. So we need to think of ways to frame the workshop too. And at the same time, we know that parents really are looking for this kind of help. So any ideas?
guys, and anyone has anything you want to say?
Hi,
Thank you.
it's Ursula.
Mhm.
I don't like the
Hiya.
Wednesday. I don't know why, but they are very, very busy all the Wednesdays. And
So,
through my observation, I have a hard time because it's like overlapping so many. And I was thinking like kind of the lunchtime for some parents. It seems like it's a good time, not early in the morning, not in the evening, or very
Yeah.
late, like because it's really hard to say, but this is what I'm saying through my own observation. I really,
Right.
Wednesday, people really putting so many meetings on Wednesdays.
Yeah. Okay.
I,
Definitely not Wednesday, but can I follow up about the lunchtime, Ursula? We've been staying away from the school day since a lot of people don't have, can't, either don't literally have the bandwidth to be in 2 meetings at once, or they need to, as Ruth said, be with their kids supervising their school days. Has that not been your experience, or?
Yeah, when I talk to parents, and basically I'm working at home and I have an older child, but it's they were saying that it's pretty hard because even I talk to parents most of the time, they have kind of the sessions with the therapist. That's why they have kind of the break, the lunchtime. That's why I was saying lunchtime. Or they have the child that is crying because it's, or complaining or running because after sitting and doing, this is like, it's not win-win. I mean, you cannot really find, but the other things I noticed then during the weekends, parents want to really be a family. And many meetings are during the weekends, but they want, I have enough of being in the screen with my child or in my job. Like, and we want to be family. We want to have like really day off. That even so many events going on Saturdays, I couldn't really put the parents to attend those meetings because they want to sleep. They want to kind of like, and some they putting just they enjoying the meetings or fair, and they putting the laptop, computer, the screen on, but the attention span for even grown-ups, it's not really so high, and because it's a two difference, being present in the front of the screen or getting some information from.
Carrie, this is Carrie, this is Chris. I'm just gonna be honest with you. 5 p.m. is fine. It's just that the problem is, and I agree with what you're saying earlier about getting a speaker. And Ursula, one part is correct. It's not a win-win situation. But the problem is also the commitment of parents. You're not going to win because some parents will say, "Oh, 5 p.m. is good." No, 5 p.m. is not good. You're not going to win. But I will tell you this: since we did the, I'm going to use an example. This might cheer you up more. When we did last year, the 3 advisory council boroughs did do a town hall, one in the morning, one in the evening. And I'll be honest with you, the attendance was actually excellent on both ends because we had people, if they couldn't come in the morning, they can do the evening. And then here's another thing also everyone's forgetting. You can record it like we're doing today. If they miss something, you can watch it. And then if you have a question, you can that person can leave that information. Like Carrie, let's say you did a workshop. You had a famous person. That person couldn't be there. If a person has a question, they saw the video, they can send it to you and forward to that person. You get the answer. There's other ways of giving out that information. So we should think of other new options.
Right. I like the idea of recording it, Chris. The problem is that when we've asked at meetings, people have not wanted to be recorded. So, we can always try again.
I'm going to be honest with you also, just to let everyone know, it's not 100%. Here's the thing. If the speaker is if you're showing the speaker's face only, like I did today with Ruth only, and everyone else who's on like today who turn off their cameras, that's excellent move. but the
I
only
know.
thing you will hear is your personal voice. That's not being private, but it is gives an option that the speaker speak. If you have a question, you have the chat, you put it in. Like, remember what mayor's office did the similar way, it does work. So there are other options. We shouldn't.
I
we
know,
sh-
Chris. I know.
yeah. No, I know you know, Carrie. I'm just letting everybody else
Okay.
know.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. All right. So that's good idea. Those are both good ideas.
Mhm.
Anybody else have thoughts on that, or how we can market this in a way that's going to really grab parents?
Hi, it's Ursula. Recording is fine, but to some point, parents really needed interaction. And what
Yeah.
I noticed, English is my second language, but it's like for me, it's so hard to put everything in the chat if I have a question. Even it's a second language, but it's easier to talk than write. And I think we kind of chat is fine, but if you don't prepare the question and you're writing, you're losing what the answer is. I don't know if it just I'm trying to explain to so many people that the we have a time, but when I'm writing and I'm concentrating on grammar, spelling, and etc., I'm losing what the presenter answer to the other questions. And if you're thinking about how to solve this, I suggested to so many parents to prepare the question and just copy and paste, but not always it's possible because some question, you're getting some question during the presentation. That's Chris, I like that the people gonna chat, but so many parents from the other, they have different language as a first language. They're not asking questions because it's so hard to put this on the chat or the question and answer.
No, that part I understand what you're saying. This is Chris. I definitely understand what you're saying, Ursula, and that's a language barrier. But that's something like I know Carrie will agree with me on. If you don't let, let's say Carrie, like if you don't let anyone else know that you're bringing a person that needs to translate, we need to know this. That's the one thing. That's like a 2-week notice. We need to know so we can get a translator, especially sign language. So that
Yes,
part you're
but it's
absolutely
not
right.
only, Chris, it's not only translation. It's just that so many people feel that they can, speak or understand English, but putting everything together is just like multiple tasks. That's why I say that many parents that I talk to, they prefer like was in the old time. Raise their hand and speak instead putting in a chat. That's why they don't want like recording, because even the voice for some people, don't want to hear that. Because of, it's not everybody will have something. Everybody will have something. But I like the interaction. I like the webinars that I can speak, that I can ask and talk, because I'm missing. And so many parents, it's missing this kind of the interaction instead being only on the screen and writing in the chat after 1 year of all those, remotely and etc. And I think if we say that you can talk during the webinar, that you can ask the question, there will be interaction, hopefully the more parents will be participating.
This is Carrie. Ursula, I really want to thank you for your remarks. And what you say about typing questions in chat is also true for some English speakers, or for whom English is their first language, like me. But as you all know, I have learning disabilities, and trying to type something into chat is not my strong point. And you're right, it absolutely pulls me out of the meeting. In fact, I was at a webinar yesterday, or meeting yesterday, and something came up, and somebody asked me in the chat to respond to something, and I just said no. This is much more involved than I can do in this context, and I responded afterwards. But I think that's a really valid and important point. It looks like we have a bunch of options. Maybe we could try something hybrid where we record the presentation and then have live question and answer. We do it twice. Or we have some other options. So let's keep thinking about this. In terms of dates, I'd like to do it, as I said, the earliest I could do it would be early May. Are there any blackout dates in early May that people know of?
We need to
Any
find
other-
out, Carrie, this is Chris again. We need to find out when is the transition fair thing, where Mary
Yeah,
Christopher
I'm on
Joy,
top of that.
huh?
I'm on that committee, Chris. I will pay attention to that.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying we just got to be, I'm just sharing that we got to be careful. That's the only thing.
Yeah. Okay. All right, good. So that's a potential conflict. Does anybody else know of any other potential conflicts? Is DOE doing anything really big and exciting? Anything like that? Okay, I'll check the school calendar for parent-teacher conflicts and stuff like that. All right. So if you have any thoughts on marketing it and how we can go about doing that, please let me know. And again, Chris, I think put my information into chat.
I did.
Please go ahead and email me, and I'll share it with Teresa. And for those of you who don't have access to chat, my email is the letter C and then BANKS, and that's like the two muddy ones on the side of the river, not the ones where all the money are, at BKLYN library.org, and that's Brooklyn without Ruth, library.org. So yeah, just go ahead and shoot me an email about that or anything else that's come up today for that matter. Okay, now Chris, are you ready for the vice chair report?
Yes. Just to let everyone know, Joyce wanted me to thank everyone who did attend the legislative citywide. I know some people did complain saying it was having problems getting in. Just to let everyone know, that was another division that Matthew does and I, or as well as Joyce, do not have control of. But it was well attended. You saw the commissioner was there and everyone else is there. But we do want to, Joyce do want to thank everyone who attended. Just remind everyone that the next meeting for the care coordination is tomorrow. As you know, we are going to be talking about some topics, which is one is COVID-19 vaccine. With the care coordination, I know Nick, I know you got an email as well, so we'll see you tomorrow as well, and hope everyone else can please attend as well, because we need to make sure that our families who have care coordinations are getting this information. As you know, MOPAD has been working on making sure that people with disabilities, we know OPWDD is doing the coronavirus for the group homes right now and getting ready soon to start. I know agencies are doing it as well. Whoever has an agency is affiliated, please make sure you let your clinic know if you're affiliated with that agency's clinic. Please contact them as soon as possible as well. That is tomorrow is the care coordination meeting, which is March 10th. Rose Sal, as well as Deborah Wright, they will be there as well as I will. We will have some more information coming in about the Corona-19 as well. The next joint meeting is Wednesday, March 21st, and to everyone know, we have a speaker coming from the Coronavirus Division of Department of Health and Mental Hygiene that will be joining with us on Wednesday, March 24th. Yes, that will again, it'll be on Ring Central. The meeting does start at 10 a.m. sharp. We will have the speaker. I cannot announce it yet because it's not official yet, because I don't want to say it might have a different speaker that day. So we will have a speaker discussing the coronavirus vaccine 19. We hope that everyone will please put that in your calendar. And to remind everyone, this information is available on the updated Brooklyn Advisory Council website. Now, Ms. Golden also, yes, Carrie?
I said great.
I thought you, okay. Just to let everyone know, also on our website is we have the update, and this is for you, Carrie, because this is something related for Teresa as well, and everyone. Ms. Golden did do an excellent presentation on the 2020 census, and I have to say we did a little better than we did 10 years ago. There are some new information is available on the website that will give you future help, and they're still doing census things right now. There will be different kinds. Ms. Golden's presentation is available also on the website, and you can watch it and learn it and pass the word around. This also will help the disability community as well as the seniors and the early intervention. I have forwarded this to Chris Trieber and IEC, and I apologize for the background noise. It's ambulance season again. This is a great presentation. It was fantastic. I know some of you couldn't make it, but we want to thank who did show up. But this information is very valuable, very good information. And I do want to, Ms. Golden want me to thank you, Carrie, because your Brooklyn Public Library was the biggest help in the borough of Brooklyn.
It help in what, Chris?
The 2020 census.
Oh yeah, we love the census. It's great. We went all out for that.
Yes, you did, because you went up by 20% more.
Yeah. Voices of Power got involved in that too. That was really
Yes,
nice.
but they want me to thank you, Carrie.
Oh, of course. Happy to help.
Yes. Now, remind everyone, again, our website is all up to date. Carrie's information, I'm going to have fun getting Carrie's an example, and Ursula, both of them, and as well as PHP. All that information is available on the new updated website, and that's including the Corona-19, the service openings, events and trainings, all this good stuff. The website's up to date, including the meeting schedule is also on, including the recording in case someone misses anything. Please make sure you visit the website at www.bfssac.com. Very easy to get on the phone, and as well as you can always email us if you want to add something into your events, meetings, trainings, or much more stuff. Now, remind everyone, the meetings for the joint meetings, remind everyone, because I'm just reading what Joyce just told me. These meetings from now until June will be handled on the 4th Wednesday. So we're trying to keep the, as you know, the attendance is also easy for Joyce, because since IEC is having a lot of meetings, not because from the budget issues and other things regarding the coronavirus and other things that are coming much up. But the meetings will be on the 4th Wednesday. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. Carrie?
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Chris. So the next thing on the agenda is new business, and my new business is finding a speaker for our next meeting. So if anybody has any ideas, now's the time to let me know. And then any business for the committee that's not an announcement, because that's coming next. Now's the time to raise that. Sam, maybe you want to speak at the next meeting for a few minutes about your role at the DDRO?
Give him a second. Let's see. Is he still on? Sam? Oh, here we go.
Yes, I can absolutely do that.
Oh, great. That would be wonderful. Hopefully I'll actually be able to see you at that meeting too. I won't be stuck on.
Yes, I waited till the last minute. I thought I had that thing up, but then it logged me in. I didn't want to interrupt the recording since we had already started with the login. But next time I will be ready visually. Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm on the phone too, so we'll both do that next time. Okay, great. Thank you, Sam. Teresa and I will be in touch about details about that. Okay.
Okay, great.
Great. Thank you. Is there any other new business?
Carrie, my new business is going to be announcements after, because mine is not.
Okay, great. So just hold on to that for just a minute. I want to give people a chance to respond.
Oh, I'm not worried.
Okay. You know, I'm at heart, I'm a children's librarian and children's literacy specialist. So one of the things that we tell parents is, you know, when your children are very young, you ask a question and you count to 10 in your head to give them a chance to respond. And that's been a really useful technique for me when it's come to Zoom and I ask a question on Zoom and I've got to count to 10 in my head to give people a chance to respond. But it just seems like forever, doesn't it? But I think that gets me to 10. So we're going to move on to announcements. We have about 20 minutes to do announcements. So please keep your remarks brief. And if it's all right, I'll start off in my other hat, which you can't see me switch since I'm on the phone. But Brooklyn Public Library has 3 events coming up this month, or 2 this month and 1 in April. As Ruth mentioned, her one-to-one phone sessions will be in April. You just get in touch with me to register for that. And you have my email. My phone number is 917-751-4890. Chris, can you put that in chat too, please?
It's already been there.
You're the best. On Thursday, March 18th at 4 p.m., we have our Garden Adventures. It's a Facebook Premier program, and if you'd like more information about that, get in touch with me. But it's a great program for early elementary age children who want to garden, and this is all about gardening that we can do now during the pandemic, inside and outside. You don't need a garden, you just need an adventure. And then finally on March 21st, that's a Sunday at 2 o'clock, we have a really exciting concert. We're bringing 9 horses. How do 9 horses play music, you might ask? Well, join us on the 21st at 2 p.m. and you'll find out. This is a autism and sensory friendly concert presented by Music for Autism. When we were in person, we did these 4 or 5 times a year, and we've been really fortunate to be able to do them twice a month since lockdown. So please join us those 3 times. And if you have questions, please get in touch with me. Okay, I can't see hands up, so Chris, I'm going to rely on you to call on people, and we're good for about 17 minutes.
Yeah, we're good. Let me see. Dolores Khan, go ahead. Your hand was up. The only thing is she's muted, which now she can talk.
Hi, my name is Doris Khan. I'm an outreach coordinator for New York State Institute on Disabilities. We have openings for crisis management services, which are done remotely. Families that having children having problems, behavior problems, our services would help them. For information, contact Juliet Hawkins at 917-524-4856, or you can email her at jhawkins@nysidinc.org. I put that information in the chat. We also provide transportation services for individuals and their families for medical appointments or recreation activities in the Bronx, Brooklyn, Staten Island. You could have up to 4 trips a year. The car services follow CDC guidelines for COVID protection. You can contact John O'Grady at 917-747-9424. And that's what I have new today.
Great, thank you, Doris. This is Carrie. Did I hear you say you were putting that in chat?
I did, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
The numbers.
Thank you, Doris. Ursula, your hand is up. You just gotta unmute yourself. There we go. There she goes.
Yes. Hi. I put in the chat the announcement that Family Connect is having a webinar March 17, starting at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. about supporting families of children with developmental disability through COVID-19. And the registration, we ask to register. You can email to familyconnect@adaptcommunity.network, or you can call 718-436-7979 extension 704, and you can receive the link just day before the webinar. And it's important that people call and register. I put everything in the chat. And I want to ask you because I got just information about the virtual town hall meeting that will take place March 11 at 7 p.m. And I have a flyer. This is about 4410 and 853 schools. I can email the flyer. Chris, do you have this information?
I don't see it unless I know, because we have at least 20 town halls about the education one. What's
I can email this the flyer that you maybe email because it's March 11.
which one is that
And
one?
they say, what should you do if your child's school closed tomorrow?
That
And
sounds-
Okay.
March 11 at 7 p.m. I will send you the flyer.
Because some
I
of them,
read it.
just to let everyone know, some of them are not talking about special ed. So I suggest please be careful, because I read.
No, this is the special. This is the special. I'm just trying to find out because it's talking about the school 4410 and 853 schools.
I
Yes.
think that is the
I-
one special ed.
Great.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I will email. If you can email to the others. Yeah, because I just got the flyer a few minutes before the meeting
Mhm.
to
Okay,
to
send
share.
it to me. Send it to me, and I'll do it this afternoon after the next meeting.
Yes, I hope. And because it's like March 11 and we need a lot of help with the special education. All right, thank you.
Ursula, this is Carrie. Do you have a Facebook announcement or something I can share on Twitter and Facebook?
Not really.
Okay.
You
Okay.
talking about the our webinar?
Yeah.
Or the whole
The one on.
meeting? You know, I can look because I just got the information like 5 minutes before a meeting, and I can look if I find something. I will share with you.
Great. Thank you very much.
And
Thank
and Carrie, this is Chris. If Ursula sends it to me, I can forward it to your I can forward it to privately to the Facebook page.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
No problem.
All right.
Let me see. Let me. Okay. Nick from PHP, who's hiding. There he is.
I'm not hiding. How you doing?
I'm just having fun because now I see your face now.
Hello. Yeah, I think this is the first time I'm joining this meeting, so I'm just kind of listening in. I'm from Partners Health Plan. I've been asked to join this. Chris, you said my presence is requested. Right now, Partners Health Plan, we're only for people who are 21 and up, so there really isn't an immediate need for you to contact me. But if you want to start doing future planning for your adult disabled child, I'm happy to help. I could put my information in the chat. And we're an insurance plan for people with Medicare and Medicaid. We will have a Medicaid only line at some point in the future. Not sure when, could happen later this year. It's been in the works for years and things have been stalled. So hopefully that'll get running sooner than later. Does anyone have any questions for me? I don't want to take up too much of your time because it's not my typical target group, but I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Nick, this is Carrie. Maybe you could just shoot me an email and describe your services. I also work with the transition committee, and that's sort of more in your ballpark.
Okay. Yes. Carrie Bank. Sure.
Yeah.
I will put my info in the chat room, but I'll send you an email as well.
Good, because I won't see it in the chat.
Carrie, we have two questions for Nick. Ursula, you're first, then Dolores, because Ursula rang first. Go ahead, Ursula.
Yes, but I think I got the answer already because I'm asking about the if your PHP accept Medicaid only, and this answer you say that this is like a future, but I have been hearing this answer since PHP started to be in action. It's every time I hear this year, next year, but it seems that it's not. But can you recommend any other management plan that will take only Medicaid?
There are some, but I'm not exactly sure which ones. So I really don't have any concrete information on that.
Any other, like you direct to other sources, or you can, because I have parents that they are kind of waiting for PHP to be only Medicaid, and in some point there was information like you say this year, and it's every year. It's end of the year.
Yeah.
And now they need to pick up some. Do you have any, or maybe?
My guess would be to go to the website of New York State and or OMRDD websites to find out that information. I'm sure it's up there. I can take a look and maybe message you personally that if I find if I'm able to find anything. And I understand the frustration, and probably no one's more frustrated than us because we do want to roll out more lines of service. It was supposed to start, I think, 2 years ago, the Medicaid only line. Things like this typically get pushed back, big things like this with the state. I usually say a year for something like a big rollout of something. Of course, COVID happened, and that made things even worse. I did hear some talks from our administrators that things could be approved this spring. That doesn't mean we're going to roll it out as soon as we're able to, because it has to be as soon as the state gives us the ability to, but probably soon thereafter. And I could keep people updated on that. If as soon as I get information, I'd be happy to share.
Yeah, if you get that information, please let me know as well. So therefore, I can add that into the website.
Sure.
Thank you.
Nick, this is Carrie. I just want to clarify that it's the Office of People with Developmental Disability. You used the old name.
Oh.
I knew Carrie was going to. Yeah, you said Omar DD, and I said, I know I heard Carrie going, uh-oh. So that's why I let Carrie say
yes.
it.
Upward.
I'm letting you off the hook, Chris.
No, you're taking the pressure off of me.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. Take it on myself.
Yeah.
All right.
Dolores Kahn has her hand up.
Yeah, Nick, I have a question for you. So your the PHP is for age 21 plus. What age would you say parents should start like researching with you and getting information? How long is the process to transition? Should they start a year before they transition out? Should 2 years or 6 months before? What would you say time-wise?
If they have to be, at this point, Medicare eligible. And that process could take several months to make sure that you have the Medicare in line, the correct. There's different Medicare and Medicaid coding that can could occur.
Right.
So I would say 6 months before you're eligible to start looking. It shouldn't, if you have the paperwork ready and ready to submit it shouldn't take longer than 3 months to get everything correct. So I think 6 months is a good to start if you're interested in inquiring, and 3 months to get the paperwork in order.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Carrie, this is Chris. My announcement is very 1, 2, 3. Just reminding, because mine will be then we're done. Just to remind everyone, because some of you've been asking me this since over the weekend, which I wasn't here. MTA is doing their mass force again, this time on March 18th. The list is available. If anyone needs to see that list, please, I put my email address on. Please email me and I will send you the link. And just to let you know, it's anywhere in the 5 boroughs. Yes, and one very important thing. A person who has an asthma does not have to wear a double mask, because the doctors already said it in the CDC guidelines. If you're a person with an asthmatic, you just need to wear a washable mask or a face covering. MT knows this already. But if you're having a problem with the stores, and Carrie, you can vouch with me because we heard the Zen moped, you need to
Yes,
let,
absolutely.
huh?
I said yes, absolutely.
Yeah, please, everyone, make sure they wear a face covering or something. It doesn't have, if it's cold outside, just put something on around just to cover the nose and the mouth. But if the person has an asthmatic, please make sure make sure if they have an asthma pump, make sure it's with them at all times with them, because that's how you can catch them. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Chris. Are there any other announcements?
No, we're good, Carrie.
Thank you.
Okay. In that case, thank you all for being here, and I look forward to seeing you at our next meeting, which is, good question. Should I look this one up, huh?
No, I have the date. Don't worry.
Thank you. What is it, Chris?
It's April. I just got to move this over because I have things in front of me. It's April 13th. It's April 13th, which is a Tuesday at 9:45. And you just mentioned a speaker, so now we can add that in now, Carrie.
Yes. That's a great thing. So again, our speaker will be Sam Young from the DDRO, the Brooklyn DDRO, and look forward to hearing from him.
And
thank you all. Go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just going to say thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you all for coming today. Sorry, it was a little bit of a choppy meeting. I wasn't prepared to chair it, but I think we got through it. So
let's give a round of applause for Carrie Banks.
Thank you, Chris.
Yes, see everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. See you guys tomorrow at the CCO meeting, Care Nation. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Thank you.
Welcome.